Hello, and welcome to my series, Strategy Briefs with Professor Barclay. I'm Dr. Justin Barclay, and I'm an assistant professor of strategy for the Jack Welch Management Institute. This call will be exploring how we can unleash greater organic growth in our businesses. Growth is what keeps companies alive. If your company's not growing, it's shrinking, and this is a fact we all face when we consider strategy. Organic growth is achieved a few ways, and we explore these in depth at JWMI. So when we talk about organic top-line growth, companies can either increase their share of the market, they can increase their share of how much consumers are spending, or they can expand into new offerings or new segments altogether. Now, selecting the proper growth strategy wasn't hard enough. We're then presented with a number of naturally occurring challenges when we look to implement that strategy. To understand some of these challenges, I've called upon an expert, Dr. Claudia White. Dr. White is the president of White Consultants. She's an IO psychologist and performance management consultant, specializing in researching, analyzing, developing, and assisting organizations to increase workplace performance and productivity. Hi, Dr. White, and welcome to the call.
Well, welcome to you as well, Dr. Barclay. It's great to be here.
And thank you. Thank you for being here. So when we think about what's been discussed so far, there are a number of ways to achieve organic growth, yet every one of them depends on the organization's ability to come together to implement that strategy. So in your experience, what are a few of the common missteps in implementation that you see all the time, and what can we do to turn some of those common missteps into successful levers of organic growth?
That's a great question. One of the challenges that organizations have today is the fast-paced growth of technology as well as the change in workforce. And so they are looking at how to do business in a new environment. A third thing that they have actually is the international aspect of it, which is in the past, the large countries such as the U.S. or Canada, they would dominate and tell smaller, say, third world countries what to do and how to do it when they go to do business there. Today, with education and technology, that has changed significantly. So you have to look at where you are today versus the old adage of let's strategize and do a strategic plan for 20 years from now or 10 years from now, or even in some businesses 5 years from now. The reality is in some cases you can only do 6 months. You might be able to luckily do 12 months. But the way that one strategizes in today's marketplace and stay alive is to be cognizant of all the changes in technology, cognizant of the workforce that you have, cognizant of the competition and market changes, and of course all the international pieces that in the past had operated differently. Today your strategy has to be ongoing, on target, and ready for change.
That absolutely makes sense, and I can certainly appeal to that fluid nature of where we're going with strategy. And I certainly appreciate you giving us some of these meaningful guideposts to unlocking greater growth. So with this in mind, I want to follow up with one final question. When we look at strategy, we have business unit strategies, but then we have this kind of central, overarching corporate strategy atop all those individual business units. So at this higher corporate level, what's the one thing that headquarters can do to support the success of the individual business units, knowing that these are some of the changes that we need to take into account? What can headquarters do to help?
Well, I think headquarters have to be clear about what their strategic plan is. It can't be that big book with 600 pages of what we're going to do over the next 10 years. I have actually been working with clients where I say to them, your strategic plan needs to be in a PowerPoint format. It needs to be simple and straightforward. In other words, what's the vision? How are we going to get there? And what is it going to take to get there? You feed that down to the individual departments or division or smaller parts of the company, and you step out of the way and give them the freedom to execute the vision that you've given them. The key to it is being sure that the vision is clear. Because the clearer somebody can see where corporate headquarters wants to go, the clearer it becomes for that division or department to be able to figure out what they need to do to get there. They don't need the micromanagement. What they need is the where to get to. How are they supporting what the company is trying to do? So if the market has changed, for example, and just pick Apple as an example. I was reading something yesterday that said almost all of Apple's products that they make can fit on one dining table. In other words, they don't make a whole lot of things. What they do is that they make things really well. And so consequently, if Apple turns to a department and say, our vision is to build a new ring that people will wear, and it will give them, it has a GPS on it, it's got an iPhone on it, it's got an iPad on it, etc. And we want to launch this product next year, September, so September 2016, for example. What they've essentially said to the group is you have roughly a year to produce and make something, and it should be a ring, and it should have these capabilities. And they should step out of the way and let that team then do their own internal strategy. Put it together, get their people on board and bought into it, because as you know, Dr. Barkley, if people don't buy into it, it doesn't matter what the headquarters has said. They're not going to get it. So people have to buy into it. It has to have value to them, sheer value. And so you let them create that shared value and give them the support that they need to get it done. But you know, the vision and the support and stepping out of the way, getting out of your own shadow, so to speak, will allow that division or department to get the job done.
That's certainly some enlightened, empowering advice. I appreciate it. Well, thank you again. And this has certainly been an enlightening few minutes. And everyone listening, please be sure to think on, discuss, and apply these levers where you can. Your company's growth curve will thank you for it. I want to thank you once again, Dr. White. I greatly appreciate your time, your attention, and your wisdom from your many years of consulting. And everyone listening, please be sure to look for other installments of this series, Strategy Briefs with Professor Barkley, and thank you for listening. Thanks again, Dr. White.
Thank you.